John Greco. Hello.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
You ever said anything as stupid as I just did?
I feel like I've said some dumb things on your guys' show, but
Not on this show.
That's show business, baby. We're allowed to say dumb stuff.
John Greco with us on the show. John, DeJuan Jones goes down. We all feel bad. How do you reconstruct an offensive line on the fly when your offense has already been not good? Poop, some would call.
Well, it's not. I don't know if there's an easy answer to that. You have to plug in what's available to you and hope Jack Conklin's elbow sorts itself out, and that's a non-issue for the rest of the year. A lot of ifs there, but now you're rolling with your third and fourth, your swing tackle, which is your third guy, and then your fourth guy until Mr. Conklin's back. So you do a lot of the things that we talked about last week in preparing for Green Bay, and it's just going to be borrowing more blockers. I know people get maybe sick of hearing me say that, but that's the reality. And as long as Joe Flacco's in there under center, he's not going to be as shifty in the pocket and as mobile, and he doesn't have that as capability. So they're going to have to button things up. And, whenever I was in a situation, obviously, playing next to Joe, even in my experiences not with the Browns, because the Browns tackles when I played were like Iron Men. But whenever you had issues at tackle and you had new guys in there and in a way to help them out, they were hanging on for dear life, and the depth of the pocket became an issue because guys were getting edges. So that just made everything so much more important on the inside three with being firm in the pocket and allowing the quarterback can step up. And sometimes they can't do that no matter what. I mean, the defensive ends or outside linebackers get an edge too quickly. But everybody, all five guys, whoever's in there, third, fourth, fifth, sixth string guys, whoever's in there, because a lot of teams are dealing with offensive line injuries. You have to button it up. You have to firm up, bow up. Everybody's got to block a little bit harder, a little bit longer, and they have to scheme some help in there. If it's running backs chipping on the way out, if it's tight ends, in formation situations where they're chipping on the way out or staying in the block, doing 6-man protections instead of 5, 7-man protections instead of 6. Anything that has to get done to keep the quarterback upright and clean so he can deliver. And guys have to get open, that they execute their routes better. So it's a chain. It's obviously it affects multiple layers of the offense.
Was it me, though, John? Am I crazy in saying I actually thought, all things considered, the offensive line held up as well as I ever could have anticipated, given what we just talked about, an injury a few plays in, and going up against Micah Parsons in Green Bay?
Absolutely. I was impressed with the way that they played, all things considered, and given all the the factors. And yeah, that's a talented defensive front, and obviously Micah Parsons, everybody knows that. But they have some guys, even rotational guys, that would come in that. And look, the Packers are dealing with the situation the Browns do. Micah Parsons commands so much attention, as does Myles Garrett, and we've all seen the conga line meme where there's three guys, kind of in a line getting ready to block Myles Garrett. And all that does is create one-on-ones for the rest of the guys, or a linebacker adding on against a running back, or a linebacker adding on free. So our defensive line, as theirs did, their mouths are watering because they could pin their ears back. They could work basically their one-on-one moves, which, that's an advantage to them. And if you have that 40, 50 times a game, of course you're going to be disruptive. So, yeah, to your point, Anthony, I thought the offensive line kind of, bowed up and did their job and put them in a chance to win. And when it mattered, everything that happened in the first, second, third, and until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, none of that mattered. And that's what's the beauty about the NFL. When it mattered, when Joe Flacco delivered the ball to the tight ends and late in the game and set up, which was one of the most beautiful field goal, situational setups that I've ever seen. I know Bubba Matrone had to just be absolutely thrilled with that. They did, and they made plays when it counted, and they won the game. And quite frankly, they should be 2-1. I know a lot of ifs, but they should be 2-1. And I think fans have to it's not pretty. It's not going to be pretty this year. Everybody just needs to kind of accept that. But you have the best defense in the NFL, and as long as they stay healthy, you're going to be in these situations. So you're going to see the Browns be, I don't want to say conservative, but smart with their play calling. And if it's 4th and 1 at the 50-yard line, if it's 4th and 4 at the 45-yard line, they might be punting it more often than not, because give the defense 98 yards to defend, and then you get another possession. They flip the field and you work field position. So I'm excited about it. I know we're going to be on the edge of our seats, I think, guys, in every game, because you have the defense to keep you in every game. And as long as the offense can manufacture something, and I think you see some excitement with the new running back, the rookie running back, if the offensive line could just do their job and hold up a little bit and guys can get open and keep Joe Flacco, whoever the hell's in there, upright, I think the Browns can win some games.
I wanted to ask you, because you alluded to how incredible that was with time to spare, that they got everybody lined up. Did you have various coaches that, some were better equipped, some went over that stuff more in game situations? Because that was amazing. Not only did they get that done, it was in the middle of the field. Darren Moose Johnson thought the game was going to be over. And next thing you know, they honestly could have snapped it with 4 seconds left. That's how quick they got everything together.
That was so impressive, guys, the way they did that operation. And every special teams coach tries to get at least one of those done a week. And Chris Tabor, who was my special teams coordinator in Cleveland, who's been around the league forever, was one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And I believe Bubba Ventrone was on the team and played with him, with him, for him. So that's a guy that was a career special teamer, Bubba Ventrone, who's been in multiple meetings, who's been around coaches like Chris. And when you're able to execute that in practice, and it looks goofy, the special teams coaches pleading with the head coach, like, give me one of these reps this week, just in case. And you saw it, Joel's running off. You got guys coming in, leaving, declaring eligible. You got obviously the 3 new guys, the kicker, holder, and snapper coming in, and time's running out. And credit before that to spike the ball. The ref let our center basically spot the ball. I mean, that was incredible. The ref came in and kind of, put his hand on the ball to spot it. But even that execution was really, really well done. So those 2 plays, getting guys in and just how it went, was very, very impressive operationally. So, tip your cap to those guys. When they needed it, they made a play. Imagine how sick we'd be here if the kicker didn't get an opportunity to hit the game winner because of a operational mishap, or not a guy not lining up on the line of scrimmage, or being ineligible, or a false start. None of that happened, and they executed it.
We have the wonderful John Greco joining us here on the show. He is a former Browns guard. He is he's a current Browns analyst. Now, you spent a long time in the NFL. You were once a veteran in the NFL. What does it take for a veteran quarterback to lose the trust of the veterans in the locker room? Because I've been saying it's much different between the fans and that veteran quarterback than it is the team and that veteran quarterback. So what does Joe Flacco have to start to do where guys in the locker room, vets, start to side-eye him?
I don't think when you start seeing multiple turnovers when there's nobody around him, and it's just issues where, the protection's there, you're watching the tape, there's guys wide open and they're being missed, or there's guys in catchable situations where the ball's flying over their heads, or the passes look really, really bad, and you start seeing ugly turnovers. Now, things happen in those games where a turnover is caused, and, hey, there was a guy that hit his shoulder, or he had guys in his legs, or, the defender was all over him and just made a better play. Those are competitive turnovers, I guess I'll call them right now. But when you start seeing really sloppy individual play where it's kind of like, my God, the other 10 guys are doing their job, and this guy is holding us back. I don't know if he's ever going to lose the respect of the locker room, because everybody knows how long he's played, the success he's had on teams and individually, his leadership qualities, the way he carries himself in the building. He's never going to lose that respect. But when you start seeing the belief around him to where people are saying, my gosh, if a shakeup at that one position is going to change things and make us look different or better, that's when you start seeing it, when guys start questioning it. Are they there yet? I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I'm not in the locker room, but he'll never lose the respect. But that is my only thing that you'll start to see if guys are like, hey, our defense is playing their tails off. Offensively, we're doing enough to where the ball should be delivered, or he should be putting us in different situations, checking plays, changing looks, and it's not getting done. I think that's when guys will start questioning it.
So you don't think that they are questioning it yet, do you?
I don't think. I don't know. I don't think so.
I want you to back me up. Because I'll be like, it's still too soon. It hasn't looked good, and I think I'm willing to make a change earlier than later. I thought, I got to tell you, and I think it is there as results based as I make it out to be, John, because I'm like, man, they're 1-2. If they were 0-3, I think it'd be on the deck. But, man, they're 1-2. They're still convinced they're still in it in that locker room. I couldn't just make that change when I've just won a game after I just got done, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, telling everybody how a great, complete team win that was.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. That locker room right now, defensively, they can look at things under a microscope a lot more than the offense can do. The defense is like, hey, look, we got to clean up these 3-4 big plays, a couple of these things, but we're playing championship football defensively. Offensively, if we change the quarterback, is that going to all of a sudden turn them into an offensive juggernaut, a 35-point juggernaut team a game? I don't know. Maybe. But I think it's unfair to just assume that one change would completely flip this around. Now, I think that if you go to Dillon Gabriel, the offensive playbook opens up a little bit. You could probably feature him where, he's keeping the ball a little bit, and that just loosens up defenses and could help his backup tackles and some of these guys that are in there. But right now, I don't want to say they're one-dimensional, but it's just like, hey, line up, give the ball to Quinshon Judkins, let's line up, run a play action, see who's open, let's drop back and hope the offensive line's protecting. I think that is the only thing to where you put a young guy that can move and is mobile, and seems operationally really good. That creates another layer of offense that the other team has to defend. But I don't know. It's just it's too early in the season right now. We rewind when we were talking in the summer when the only conversation was, when are we going to see these two rookies? And it sucked that I hated talking about that, because I was like, we're automatically assuming they're going to be 0-5, and then they're going to put Dillon Gabriel in, and then it's just going to be, when is Shedeur Sanders coming in? Well, they're 1-2. Yeah, they're tied for last in the division. They're last in the division. But putting a rookie in right now, is that going to be detrimental to his future and detrimental to what he can provide? If they keep winning a game here and there and keep remaining competitive, and then you're forced to go to a rookie, that gives them just, each week is so crucial to their development. And if they get a full week of preparation and tailoring an offense toward their specific skill sets, that's what I want to see. I don't want it to be a situation where Joe Flacco looks back and we throw Dillon Gabriel in there, they can't protect him, it looks sloppy, then there's all these question marks, and we start looking at next year.
John, thank you for the good times. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. All the best.
Guys, have a great week.
John Greco on the Fan Hotline.